Hey everyone, Spencer here with nichepursuits.com, and I am super excited to go live with you. Again, Spencer here with nichepursuits.com, and we are live. I haven't done a YouTube live in a really long time, done any sort of live in a long time. So today I'm excited to jump into what's working well with artificial intelligence content. I've seen some massive growth on my site here recently over the last couple of months. And so I want to dive into what's working today, what I'm doing to scale that content. And then also, I recently released my WordPress plugin called Rank Logic that is helping me to analyze that content, all my SEO content, but also the AI content that I'm going to dive into specifically. And so I'm going to show you how I'm using this plugin to better analyze my content, to dive into the SEO performance, and really group that content and make sure that I'm making proper business decisions. So you may see me looking over here to this other screen. This is just ensuring that everything's working. And so if you can hear me and see me or have any questions, go ahead and drop something in the chat just to make sure I know that everything's working properly. I'm pretty sure we're good to go. Everything looks good on my end. So let's jump into this. I will be trying to answer some questions along the way, but I definitely have a lot of time slotted to the end after the presentation where I am going to be answering your questions. And so I'm going to be giving live examples. I will be walking through specifically how to create a piece of content using artificial intelligence. I'm going to show you where that piece of content is currently ranking in Google. And then, of course, I'm going to show you in Rank Logic how I analyze my content, how I use it to help me find new keywords, and really optimize my existing content as well. So I'm getting lots of comments here saying, yep, everything's looking good, saying hello. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into it. I do have some slides here, really just to make sure I'm staying on track. I promise you that I am not going to be 100% showing these slides the whole time. I don't want to just go through a PowerPoint presentation. I know how uninteresting that can be, but this is going to keep me on track for a little while. And then I'm going to show my screen and share other examples and show websites and Google rankings and lots of things that we're going to jump into. So, okay, so I've got that going. So how to scale and analyze the SEO traffic of your AI content. And so, like I said, recently, over the last couple of months on nichepursuits.com, I've started producing some artificial intelligence assisted content. And I'm going to go into exactly what that means. But you can see that over the last couple of months, the traffic to that content has scaled dramatically. And so, again, this graph is showing only the AI articles that I've written for this website. And so, to get a better view of that, um, I'm going to actually jump into this is directly on my website. This is installed on Niche Pursuits. This is Rank Logic. That's where that graph came from. But you can see here on this, back April 11th is really when I first started getting any sort of traffic. And now here we are up. I had a nice spike of about 1,500 clicks in a single day. And now I'm at about 1,200 clicks per day just from the artificial intelligence content on my site. My site overall gets lots more traffic than this, but this is just a basket of content. If I go down here, you can see that this is 95 articles total. So this graph is only showing 95 articles. And so I'm going to show you how I created this content. And then, like I said, I'm going to be sharing Rank Logic a little bit just to give you a little bit of a heads up how I'm doing this. Rank Logic allows you to create projects or baskets of content to analyze. And again, this is showing all the traffic from Google. So you can see I have this project that I had created for my AI assisted articles. And so that's just showing the 95 articles. and this is the traffic from Google only. So these articles have gotten more traffic than just from Google, but this is showing the SEO organic traffic, a little over 30,000 visitors in the time period that I have selected here. And of course, you can change the dates of the content that you want to look at. You can create different projects, right? You can come in here and select any sort of segment of articles that you want to test and try out and do that. Another cool thing to create a basket of content is you can select authors. So I can go down here and select any author that I want, and it will show the articles written by that author. It's a huge time saver. It allows you to compare authors, which ones are performing better than others. You can also do by publish date, right? You can select articles that were written before a certain time period or after a certain time period or within a date range, right? So these are some of the things that Rank Logic allows you to do. And just as a heads up, coming very soon, within the next few days, we're going to have a filter added where you can select a category on your website. And so if you have a whole category dedicated to one particular thing, you can select that category. Maybe there's 200 articles in that category. You can start to see how well that category is performing in Google. Huge time saver. So you can get all these reports, do all this analysis with just a couple of clicks, whereas before it would take you a really long time. So let's stop talking about rank logic specifically, but these two topics do tie together, so that's why I brought it up. Let's jump into how I'm producing AI content. And so before I show you exactly how I do that, I want to compare the costs. So previously, all the articles on my site, and there's over 2,000 articles on nichepursuits.com, they were all written by human writers. Okay, and so my authors, I paid them on a per word basis. For this example, around 10 cents per word. If I have them write a 2,000 word article, that's going to cost me about $200 per article, right? And then plus any editing or management, because I do have other people helping me manage all the content, that's going to add another $50 per article as they spend maybe an hour or two doing that, right? So overall, my all-in cost on human written content for a 2,000 word article was about 250 words per article. Now, I understand that that cost may be higher than yours, but in my particular niche, where I'm writing about SEO and digital marketing, a little more expertise is required, and so I have to pay a little bit more for authors. But just to give you a sense of how much I was spending per article with human written writers, now if I look at AI assisted content that I'm going to show you how to do here in just a second, my authors, I pay them on an hourly rate because they're not actually writing the content, at least not a lot of it. So I pay them for their time, and I find it a rate that's fair for them. And that's around $25 to $30 an hour that I'm paying my writers to sort of manage this process. The editor then spends another hour editing the content. I should say that the authors are spending 2 to 3-ish hours. It's maybe around 3 hours on average that they're spending to produce an AI assisted article. And so my total cost all in is now about $100 to $125 per article, which is about 50% less than my human written content. Okay, so that is the difference in cost between my human written content, my AI assisted content. And so it's still, I just want to preface by saying that this is still very much human assisted, right? Humans are involved in every step of the process. I'm not here to teach you or show you that, hey, you can just get a tool, punch in your keyword and have it spit out 1,000 articles for you, and you go publish that and expect to do well. That is not what I have found in my experience. And I would never do that on a website that I actually cared about. So if you have a blog that you care about, like I care about nichepursuits.com, this is the process that you should probably be following. Use AI tools to assist you, to help brainstorm, to help flesh out your articles, but have humans very much involved in either writing some of the sections or a lot of editing. So, what do you say? Should we jump into a specific example? Let's do it. So, what tools am I using? I am actually just using OpenAI. I'm using ChatGPT. It's $20 a month to be able to use, GPT 4.0 and the tools that are needed there. And that is really it for the AI tools. Um, there's lots of great AI tools out there, but most of them are all just based on OpenAI, right? And so when you pay for the tool, you're really just paying for API access. Plus, they add a layer that can be nice in some cases. So if you have a tool that you like, great. But everything I'm going to show you here today is just with OpenAI. Okay. So, and specifically the type of articles that I am going to be creating are listicle type articles. This is a format that I found AI does really well with. Um, if you can ask for it to create a list of things and to help you brainstorm that list, that is a great use of AI because you're not asking it to write a super engaging article. You're asking for a list of items. And so this is where AI can speed up the process immensely. Okay. So for this example that we're going to look at, I'm ranking for the term food blog name ideas. It's just an article that the keyword volume is 210 searches per month, so it's not a huge keyword, and that's partially the reason why I'm okay sharing this publicly. Because if you go after this keyword, you're not going to break my bank or anything. So, and I wouldn't necessarily um, advise you to go after this keyword just because there's lots of authoritative websites, including mine, already ranking for this. So my current rank is number 11, but I will just say that I have a lot of similar articles in this vein that are listicle type AI assisted articles that rank much better. They're number one in Google for a lot of them, on the first page of Google for many of them. Okay. So, um, so let's take a look at this, okay? And then we're going to kind of go through some of the strategies that I have. So if I go over to Google, I'm sharing this tab now that shows, okay, if I punch in food blog name ideas, nichepursuits.com is ranking number 11 here, just off the first page. And I expect that over time, this will be ranking much better. This article was just published on June 25th, which was 10 days ago, right? So give it a little bit of time to age. I expect this is going to climb in the rankings and do much better. Okay, and so again, this article was written mostly by AI using this exact process. So, step one for writing a listicle AI assisted article is to take how many items in the list that you think you need to rank for this article, for this keyword, right? And so if I look at the top 10, I can see they've got lists of 1,500, 1,000, 1,000, 200, right? 1,050. So I determined I need at least 1,000, and you can see we ended up with 1,015. Always like to end in an odd number. That's a psychological thing, to end with an odd number. They tend to get higher clicks than even numbers. So I take that total number, roughly 1,000, and then I determine the categories, the subcategories, of this list, and then sort of divide that by the total number. In other words, so I want to produce, 1,000 items in the list, and I have 10 categories, right? So I'm going to need 100 words per category. So in this particular case, we ended up with the number of 29 per category that we wanted. So it's as simple as that. Here we have ChatGPT, right? And this one was done in 3.5, but many of them we do in 4.0. So we simply ask it, please list 29 artsy food blog name ideas, right? And it's going to spit out 29 name ideas. Then the next one, list 29 baking food blog name ideas and do not repeat any of the name ideas listed, right? So that's the key, is that every time you ask it in a subcategory, you ask it to not repeat. And let me see if I can. There we go. Let's make the screen a little bit bigger so you guys can see the prompts and everything that I'm doing, right? Uh, and so if we come down, I'm not going to read through every single one of these, right? But it's a similar process. So budget food blog name ideas. Do not repeat any of the names above that. So we know that each time it generates ideas, Thrifty Taste, The Budget Pantry, Economic Eats, Pennywise Plates, Cheap Gourmet, it's not repeating something that it said previously. And so that's how you can get a list of 1,000 names, because if you asked it for 1,000 names, first of all, it probably wouldn't produce all of that in one go. Um, sorry about that. I was not sharing my chat GPT screen, so I am sharing that now. Thanks for the heads up in the chat. Um, so let me just, again, I think you'll get the idea, but now I'm sharing my screen. And again, I think you heard the audio, but now I'll just scroll through here and you can see the lists that it just does generate. Again, the key is asking it to not repeat the items that were listed up above. Uh, and so, okay, thank you again for the heads up in the comment. I would have gone the whole time sharing the wrong screen. So here we are. Again, catchy food blog name ideas, right? Tasty Tales, Flavor Fusion. And I know that it's not repeats. And so you can't ask it to generate, I don't know what the max is, but if you're asking it all at once to generate 200 or something, that's too much. You need to break it down into subcategories. And the other benefit of doing these subcategories is that you rank for other long tail keywords, right? Somebody might actually do a Google search for catchy food blog name ideas, or what was this other one? Budget food blog name ideas, right? So you now, not only do you have a list of 1,000 blog name ideas, but you've got, in this case, it's like 50 different subcategories, right? Long tail keywords. So you get a lot of different long tail keywords by breaking up these massive listicle articles. Okay. And so then what you do, so you can see this is exactly the process that went through. This is a live example that one of my authors went through and they completed. So then after you generate the list, because Google, not Google, ChatGPT remembers everything that you input previously, you then basically ask for, if I can get to the bottom here, wow, it's long. Ask for frequently asked questions, or a do or do not list, like kind of a cautionary list. Let's see. What is the actual prompt here so you can see this? Okay, please list key do's and don'ts when choosing a name for a food blog using a friendly and informative tone so hopeful entrepreneurs can be motivated and inspired. Okay, so that's the prompt that we use, and you can see that it comes out with a nice list of 6 do's and 6 don'ts, right? You could also do a frequently asked questions section. And again, I would do that after you have generated the entire list. And then at the end, you can ask for it to please craft a short and punchy 100-word introduction that entices the readers to keep reading about a blog post that lists out food blog name ideas and essential naming tips listed above, right? And you can see the rest of the prompt here on your screen as well. And so you actually can have ChatGPT write the introduction for you. And honestly, that is about it. We then have the authors maybe write a short conclusion based on all of that. But you can see, let me show my other tab now. And looks like I need to refresh my screen. But here is the actual article that was published on June 25th and is now ranking in Google, right? So you can see that here's the article and with the introduction, and then it literally is just a list, right? So we have subtitles, best budget food blog names, and then it's just the list, right? That is it. And this article is really long. It's it's got that word count, right? That several. I don't know. I should look that up, but I don't have that number. But it's it's at least a few thousand, like 3,000 words long, right? And Google likes this content. I have found that many of these listed names do not appear anywhere else in Google's index. These are unique and original names that are not showing anywhere else. Okay, so let me come back over here to make sure I'm not missing anything. So we did that, generated a list one at a time, make sure there's no repeats, do's and don'ts, create an introduction. Yeah, add, of course, images and headings, making sure that the article is well formatted. This is critical for Google to crawl and index, and for readers, of course, to read it better. And then after we publish all of these articles, we add both inbound and outbound internal links. So we add links to other relevant articles, and then we have added some internal links using Link Whisper back to this food blog name ideas article, and that helps it, of course, rank faster because you have a little bit of link power pointing to that. Link Whisper really does make the process super simple, and that is part of my dedicated process. As a heads up, I am the founder of Link Whisper as well, just in full disclosure, but it is a great tool. Okay, my sort of final step that I am now following is that I group all of my articles in um, in Rank Logic, right? So I use Rank Logic to create keyword and content projects and decide whether or not I should scale a specific strategy, right? And so as I was showing here, let's jump back over here to Rank Logic, and again, um, I can come in here and I can select um, any. Let me come over here to this tab because this shows all my articles. So I could come in here and I could just select as many of these articles or keywords that I wanted, and I can add them to a project, or I can create a new project, right? So I can start to better analyze all of my content. And so that's what I've done over here. Again, as I showed at the beginning, this is all of my AI assisted content. It's all in one grouped project in Rank Logic to help me make a better decision. And so if you're looking at this graph, what decision would you make? Uh, the answer is pretty obvious, I think, is like double down on this strategy. You've got massive growth. You're publishing articles that are only 10 days old and they're already ranking in Google and getting traffic. This traffic is going to increase dramatically over the next month because I've really just started to scale this in the last 30 days. And so the articles are going to start ranking quicker in Google, and I fully expect that I'm going to be getting 40 to 50,000 visitors per month, maybe even within June, from my AI assisted articles. And we're creating them all exactly as I just showed you. Okay. So the other thing that Rank Logic can help you do, and I'm going to shift in a little bit into what Rank Logic does, because I did just launch Rank Logic this week, and there's a special discount going on through Friday. If you want to check it out, it's over at ranklogic.com. And so one thing that Rank Logic allows you to do is track unlimited keywords. There are no limits on the number of keywords that you can track. So if you're paying for some other uh, keyword tracking tool, it probably has limits on it. This does not. So if you come down here, and again, just down at the very bottom, you can see that that number there is 101,000 keywords. So Rank Logic is currently tracking 101,000 keywords for me on nichepursuits.com. I did not have to add any of these keywords manually. All that you do is you connect your Google Search Console And once you make that connection and all the data is imported, all of your keywords are then tracked automatically. And you can jump in here and, do anything that you would with any sort of rank tracking software. You can see uh, how the movement has been over time. You can see you can look at individual pages and see what keywords those pages are ranking for. Or, like I said, you can come in here and create a new keyword project, and then you can put in whatever keywords you want to track. Because certainly I am not interested in looking at all 101,000 keywords that are on my website. Maybe there's a batch of 100, really important keywords that I want to track, and so I can select all these, put them in a group, and then that will be a group that I can go back to over time and see how those keywords are performing. Okay. So if I just come over here, make sure I am not missing anything. Um, Another thing that you can do within Rank Logic is you can find keywords that you should be targeting, right? This is a process that I like to call following Google's lead. Um, and I have an example that I'm going to jump into here about an article about eBay. But basically, following Google's lead is when you have an article that is already ranking for certain keywords uh, in Google. That's Google signaling to you that, hey, your website is an authority on these subjects, and perhaps you should write more articles about those subjects. And so I'm going to show you now how Rank Logic can allow you to dive deeper into that process. So let's see here. I'm going to share again. This is Rank Logic on my website, and I have an article here. Is it worth selling on eBay? And let me see if I can expand. So what I did is I expanded this keyword list, and of course I clicked on that, and there it is. I should have kept it expanded. Um, so let me make that just a little bit bigger, so it might be easier to read, right? So you can see all the different keywords that this article is ranking for, right? So selling on eBay gets 615 clicks. How to sell on eBay, 308 clicks, right? And it shows the positions for all these different keywords that this particular article is ranking for. So one strategy that I like to follow is, again, see all the keywords that your article is already ranking for, and then try to find keywords that perhaps this article isn't targeting specifically that could be their own article. Right. So as I look at this, one that pops out at me is eBay still popular? Right? That is not what this article is specifically about. And it gets 337 impressions. So that means the keyword volume is at least 337, right? And perhaps I could write an entire article on this subject, or I could write an article, on is it easy to sell on eBay, right? Or how much does it cost to sell on eBay? All of these could be either their own article, or I could optimize this particular article better to include those keywords, right? Like maybe some of these keywords are mentioned, but they're not their own subheading and don't have a section on them, right? Like, is eBay a good place to sell? Maybe that keyword's mentioned, but it could be its own subheading, and then I could rank number one and potentially double the traffic for that particular keyword. So all of this analysis is possible directly within Rank Logic, directly within your own WordPress dashboard. Okay. So, the next thing that Rank Logic can do is content update tracking, right? So, all of your content updates are tracked automatically without any of your input. So, I am just sharing this tab where I already had this selected, but basically you can select the events. And so events are anything that happened on your articles, whether that's a content update, whether that's a title change, whether you change the meta description, meta title, etc., add internal links. All of those events are automatically logged within Rank Logic, so you can determine, okay, are these changes actually making any difference, right? So just as an example, here's one particular article that had 3 content updates done over the past month or so. And you can even expand and see that, okay, on June 15th, this particular article, it looks like a paragraph was added, right? So this particular change wasn't a huge change, but a paragraph was added. And then what you could do is you could look at this article, and on your ranking graph, you could go, okay, I can see that an event, a content change was made on June 15th. Have my rankings improved for that article since June 15th? Right? And so that's a huge thing that Rank Logic does, is that it tracks all of your events, all of your content updates for you automatically. So you don't need to create any other spreadsheets. You don't need to write down your A/B tests. You can just make those changes directly within Rank Logic, and then those changes will be tracked for you um, automatically. Okay, and so let me make sure I haven't missed anything, and then I'm going to jump into your questions. We're going to leave the rest of the time for your questions. I know there's a lot here, but yes, I did want to sort of wrap up my final, call it presentation, with the Rank Logic special offer. Like I mentioned, I did just launch Rank Logic about a week ago. And so through the end of this week, Friday at midnight my time, it's currently $30 off the regular price. And this is the lowest that Rank Logic will ever be. I'm not going to discount it any further. Even if I run a Black Friday special or something like that, it won't be lower than what it is right now. And so if you do decide to join Rank Logic and start using it, this is the lowest price it'll be, but your price is also locked in permanently for as long as you have an active subscription. So as long as you keep it, it's going to be at this lower tier. And we are actively working on Rank Logic to add lots of new features. And so this, I can just tell you, this is a great price for what you're going to get. Like I said, we're adding the category filtering. We're making updates to some of the event tracking so that you can actually see the number of words that are changed within your content. So you can quickly see, okay, like this example I gave, it was, we just added a paragraph and maybe that was 20 words. But with the new update coming in the next week or two, you're going to be able to see how many words were changed. You can say, okay, we added 200 words or we added 500 words, and you can filter by the number of words added to see if adding lots of content makes bigger changes. So that's coming very soon, plus a couple other features that are being developed. So anyways, as you see Rank Logic today, it truly is the starting point, which is a great starting point, but it's just going to be getting better next week, the week after, and going on, and your price isn't going to go up over the years. So if you want to check that out, you can go to ranklogic.com. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the questions that you have. Joyce is asking, or somebody is asking, does Rank Logic track daily rankings? It does. It tracks the rankings daily for you, so you have that history over time. The data is delayed by a couple of days from Google Search Console. That's just how they work. And so you won't be able to see your rankings today, but it'll be like 2 days old. And so, but you will see that over time. Okay, and then Joyce actually asked, does it show competition or keyword difficulty? No, it doesn't show the keyword difficulty for different keywords. And okay, let me try and go back to some of these earlier questions, and feel free to add any additional questions that you have. Can this tool replace Surfer SEO? It doesn't fully replace Surfer SEO just yet. And I don't know That's not really the plan over time, but it can give you a lot of information about your individual keywords and can help you optimize your existing content much better. Okay. Um, and let's see here. I'm going to go back to some of the earlier questions. If you have any, again, specific questions about AI, okay, the question was, would you use AI on your main money site at this point? Yes, I am. This is for nichepursuits.com. This is a site that I care a lot about. And by using the process that's very human assisted, I am comfortable doing that because the articles do read well. And Google clearly is loving the content that I'm putting out. I would not, definitely would not produce AI content at scale. I'm talking hundreds or thousands of articles in a short period of time that nobody's reviewed, that you're just hitting publish and letting AI run wild and do its thing. I would definitely not do that type of content on a site that I cared about. Okay, Save the Polar Bears is asking, would love to hear more on rank logic and site speed. So, great question, because there is a lot of data that rank logic gathers on the back end of your website. And so all the data is displayed in your WordPress dashboard, but it is all on the back end. And so there is zero impact on the speed on the front end of your website. Um, rank logic is not doing anything on the front end, meaning where when your visitors come to your website, it's not going to slow down your website. When Google crawls your website, it's not going to crawl that page that they're trying to crawl on the front end of your website. So there's zero impact in terms of site speed as it relates to SEO on the front end. On the back end, you might your dashboard might be a little bit slower, just particularly when you're actually using rank logic, right? When you're actually looking at the data. But for me, that's not a big deal. I'm mostly just caring about the front end of my website and the site speed. So great question. As I scroll through here, let's see here. Asking how I do keyword research. Yes, this video will be available afterwards. Did I try other AI tools before ending up with ChatGPT? No, I didn't. Well, okay, I've tried other tools, but ChatGPT is just where everybody's getting their data anyway. So I'm going straight to the source. I'm just paying the API fee instead of paying both, right? In a lot of cases, you're just paying a lot more to use another tool. So I'm sticking with this. So. Some people have asked the question in the past, why do I have to share access to Google Search Console? And Spencer, are you stealing my keywords? Are you trying to, get all this data from lots of users? The answer is no. I do not have access to your Google Search Console data. RankLogic as a business or me or anybody connected cannot access your data at all. And so just initially through the setup, because you run Rank Logic as a plugin on your own website, all the data is yours. It's stored on your server, on your host, and you are the only one that can access your dashboard. And so that's the short answer, but basically the way it works is that you have to make a connection with Rank Logic. And so it does ask permission where it says, hey, Google Search Console would like to connect with Rank Logic or vice versa. Just realize that that is not me or our website making some sort of connection with the data. That's just you making that connection with the plugin so that it can be pulled into your WordPress dashboard. So no, we don't have access to your data. We're not using that in any way. Okay, is there a plan in the future to offer reporting for exporting to create monthly reports for others or importing into Google Data Studio? Yes, we do plan on giving you the capability to export your data and perhaps create some sort of much better monthly reports, maybe using Google Data Studio. Great idea. It's on the to-do list to potentially develop that down the road. Are you running your articles through an AI generated content checker? Yes, we do spot check our content through originality.ai to make sure that it reads well. So it doesn't just read like AI content. And so that's where our authors come in and edit that. I say spot check because I don't think that my editors are doing it 100% of the time, but we do it on a regular enough basis that we are checking in to make sure that the content generally looks pretty good. Okay, if you didn't have writers, how and where would you find them to edit these AI assisted articles? So you can go over to Upwork. Upwork's a great place to find freelance writers or freelance editors. That's where I've hired some of mine. Another place is ProBlogger job boards. A lot of great authors are there that would also be happy to edit as well. There is a service called Content Pit that I've mentioned in the past that I have used to write content on other websites. They are now offering a brand new service that will edit and help you produce AI assisted content just like I showed you. And so if you want to check them out, there is a discount through my website. I wasn't planning on mentioning this, but it's at nichepursuits.com/content pit. So again, nichepursuits.com/content pit. You can check out the services that they have there if you're looking for an agency to help you out, and they are well priced. Is Rank Logic only for WordPress? Yes, it is only for WordPress. It is a WordPress plugin at this point, but it's a great place within your WordPress dashboard to be to get all of your data. And again, if you want to check that out, it's ranklogic.com. I've got a discount running this week. Are you planning to add the possibility to filter at the post level? I might need a clarification on that. You can already filter at the post level to get the specific keywords, as I mentioned. So this is the post level, and then I drilled down to the specific keywords, and I could click on this keyword, and it would show me the traffic. So maybe clarify if I didn't answer that question. Would you use AI for a food blog, or do you have to cook every recipe? You could definitely get creative and use AI for a food blog. You don't have to cook every recipe. Why not go the listicle approach? Here's 25 great recipes for, jambalaya, whatever it is, and use AI to help you generate that list. Maybe that's not a great example, or 4th of July recipes, right? Here's 25 great recipes for the 4th of July, or other holidays, Christmas, Halloween. There's lots of angles that you could go where you don't have to be the one producing all the recipes. You can combine listicle, that sort of thing. So yes, you could use AI for this. Okay. Eric is asking, I wonder if Google will at some point be able to detect AI content and then penalize. I'm assuming you are editing the content after the fact. So yes, I am editing the content. Google might already be able to detect AI content. We don't know, and they're not saying specifically. They might be able to, but I suspect that they honestly can't really very well because the tools are getting more and more advanced. And for that reason, I think is why they basically come out and said, you know what, AI content is okay. We are okay if you publish AI assisted content as long as it is helpful content. And I think that's the key. As long as this content is helpful, there's no reason why you should be concerned. I am treading lightly. I'm only doing some of my content. I'm experimenting right now. I'm doing these listicle articles, and it's working really well. I have lots of human writers, and so it's a balance. And so you need to be careful and just make sure that it is truly helpful content. Go through, edit, read it, make sure it's good content. Okay. Why not add a notification feature that will send us regular emails about the rankings of particular keywords that we care about? Perhaps that's a future feature. Right now, we don't have that in Rank Logic. How does Rank Logic compare to Rank Math's Pro keyword tracking? I don't have the specifics of how it compares. If you've used Rank Math Pro, you might have to tell me. Other than I can say that Rank Logic tracks all your keyword rankings. You can look at that on the graph. You can group keyword projects together. You can see the exact amount of traffic that's coming in, impressions, clicks, and you can slice and dice the data. So you can basically get, I think, everything that you need. So Rank Logic just does different things than Rank Math does, right? The keyword tracking is just one feature of Rank Logic, and it's also just one feature of Rank Math. So it's very possible that you still want to use both tools. Okay. I saw the upload keywords button on the dashboard. Will that track keywords that might not be in Google Search Console? It will only track keywords that are on your website, right? So you can't put any keywords that your particular website is not ranking for. Um, but all of your keywords already show in Google Search Console. So really, the uploading um, is a nice way to get that batch. So if you've already got like 200 keywords somewhere and you just want to upload those instead of hunting and finding them in Rank Logic, that would be the way to do it. Upload your spreadsheet, add that to a project, and you're done. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. How do I find my editors? So yeah, I think I answered that. Upwork and ProBlogger. If I lock in the special one site price, will I be able to upgrade to the special 3-site price in the future when I've got more sites? Great question. When you upgrade, it will not lock in the price that you have currently unless you ask me. So if you ask me, I will make sure that you still have the $30 off when you decide to upgrade because I like you, Urban Motorhome. I like you and anybody else listening. If the special pricing is not there and you decide to upgrade, when you upgrade it, it basically gives you whatever the current price is. And so if you want to keep your special deal, message me or send a support ticket. I'll make sure to get you that deal. Okay. Okay. We've got just a couple of more questions that have come in, and then I think we're going to wrap up here. This has been awesome. Does Rank Logic place any extra stress on the server? Does it save anything to the WordPress database? So yeah, I kind of addressed both of these. Yeah, it does. All the data is processed in the back end, so it doesn't slow down your site speed or anything, but the data is downloaded or installed on your server, right? So you do need server space for that, but that data is only accessed when you are using Rank Logic itself, when you're actually in looking at that data. Any plans to integrate with Bing Webmaster Tools as well? I do not have any plans to do that currently, just because I found that Google Search Console has the most data and also sends the most traffic. Google sends the most traffic, and so that's what people tend to care about is where they rank in Google at this time. So I think I've got through most of the questions. I really appreciate everyone sticking on for this live presentation of how I'm producing artificial intelligence content and how I'm using Rank Logic. If you want to check out Rank Logic, again, go to ranklogic.com. The special deal is available through the end of this week on Friday. It is the launch special, and so all the new features that I mentioned that will be coming out in the future are going to be included in your price that you buy it at today. So I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten so far from all of you for Rank Logic. And just everybody that's joined me here today for this live presentation. So, having said that, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I just want to thank you all again so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun talking about rank logic, AI, and everything else. If you want to learn more, go to ranklogic.com. Thank you all so much and have a great weekend.